how to set up, um, actually not the printer itself, but the software for the splicer. And he's like, "Well, let's load in a Benchy." And he said, basically, for those that don't know, a Benchy is like one of the first models that a lot of people use to test out their printers. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna test this out, I might as well just do that. That's like one of the very few times that I will jump on the bandwagon. And I'm gonna print out a few more benchies. I'm gonna print some out for the nephews and stuff. Yep. That's what I'm doing. I actually made a little miniature. It's supposed to be like a miniature tabletop plane. Um, I made it for a coworker to work. Okay. Well, if you're trained to split screen stuff, I have been seeing you in the site, the vertical screen. Yeah, I know about it. I know you did. I just wasn't available at those times. Yeah. 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 It probably was. Yeah. 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 Well, I have tried a few lives here and there. It just depends on what I'm working on and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Test, test. Okay. Now people can hear. But I don't know if there's any desktop audio. I'll say something. I got to watch my levels here.
Um.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That. Okay. It's working. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Whoop. I wasn't. I was paying attention. Else. Yeah. I realized, hey, no, we can hear. Please in the chat. Oh, so oh, the audio's good. But I'm almost wondering if YouTube sensing it from a mobile device, if it, for whatever reason, pushes it because it
It's
wants
very
to
possible.
because it wants to serve to users, even though I'm doing the full vertical. But I don't know. just never think to or YouTube Discord ask if that's the case. I bet you there is something to it. But I honestly hate live stream on my like the screen is also the preview. Like I can't see chatters because that's the thing, I was having chatters. So Trip and Tucker were watching the chatters and telling me people were commenting or numbers were going up and down and keeping them off stream, but they were also commentating too. I mean, I don't know, maybe that was part of it. That was something you,
Yeah.
but I kind of doubt it. I also updated OBS and it's got like a live control room plug-in. I can just stuff right in the program.
Oh, again. Because I was following the.
Yes.
Yeah.
It won't make corners then.
Nope. I have it set up. Well, I set it up more for me if like I was getting tired of, or I shouldn't say tired. If I was gonna work on, say, like that 8-hour potato harvest we did, if I was gonna do that on my own, I have a mod in here that I could basically set it so that it would just go around. Although it would go back and forth like the GPS, but
Well, anyway, back to your printer. I guess we got a little off. I guess you have to check forms out. I mean, maybe there's a video.
well, it's just
Because I can't
it's
believe
weird.
nobody else is having a problem. But it's kind of funny they can help you better than... But it's hard to do it over email. That's kind of the problem with not just anything like this. It's kind of you still got to figure it out yourself a little bit.
Well, okay, so, I kind of set it up. It's been a long setup process and whatnot, and the plate sat here and got a little dust on it because it's been a few months, and so I hit the start button on the printer, and then I was like, oh, I didn't dust that off like I should have. And I was like, well, I don't want to put my hand under there right now or anything. And so I didn't. Well, it started printing, and then you could look at it and you can see the dirt in the first print. And then eventually it came loose and started
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had that happen.
And I don't know, I maybe shouldn't have included that in the videos to them, but I did. And then they were all like, whoop. They're always like, what plastic are you using? And what's the other thing? What plastic are you using? And they did ask if I cleaned the bed, and then they're was something else, but main is always, the first question is always, "What plastic are you using?" I'm like, I'm 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 literally using the plastic that you gave me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the roll that it came with.
yeah, it is. Well, it is because I decided if they were gonna make me use that single spool thing, I'm gonna use what they gave me and use it up. So, anyways, after that, after I canceled, I cleaned off the plate and then hit reprint and everything. The other problem I ran into, and I think I know a solution, and that actually I might consider doing a live, or at least making a video of it. So I thought I had a good place, a good stand to put this printer on, and I went to hit the, well, when it was doing the invisible prints last week, um, I it I noticed the table was shaking all over the place, and then I had heard in someone I was watching while I was trying to set this up, um, that you should you shouldn't put the roll on top, and that shaking is always a problem with these things, with any printer.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, this is shaking, pretty bad. I'm like, and I, I thought this thing I set it on was gonna be pretty sturdy, and I'm just like, well, I guess I'll have to make my own or something. I could, I guess. I'm just thinking about it now. I could probably try and figure out a way to structurally make it sounder, but
Yeah. Well, and you can slow the printer down. You don't want to have to do that if you want to. It takes long. I mean, I don't have mine running as fast as it. And part of it is because I'm trying to do more detailed stuff, and slower is better for that.
so well. So I did a benchy last night. Tonight I made this airplane for my coworker, whose last day is tomorrow, and he's into RC airplanes. That's why I'm doing that. Anyways, getting into Derek, because I think you initially saw the first message, or probably, where he wanted a cake pop model
Oh,
mold.
yeah, mold.
So after that, he started messaging me, just me and him.
Yeah.
After I sent the one that I found, which which apparently Jason was the only one that was like say anything about that, which is okay.
Oh,
Anyways,
I saw it and I immediately saw it.
anyways, so Derek started sending me stuff, just personal. Um, because he's like, well, she wants puppy paws, and I was like, so I started looking through Thingiverse, thinking this was gonna be something simple. So I got a couple of pictures of ones I thought looked good, and then he's like, it's like, no, 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 and then he sent me a link, and it's to a website called Cult 3D.
Yeah, that's another Thingiverse type deal. But like, there's like paid stuff on
Well, and
that,
that's
and
the
print
so
and
I was
printables and things
well
like
that
that.
so I was looking at it, and no, it's not expensive. It was only $2.50, but basically I'll have to pay for this mold that I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
I guess I was like, well, I don't know if I can find other people that would maybe consider wanting the mold or something, but
Well, that's kind of why I gravitated to Thingiverse, because most everything on there is free.
and I tried to find it on Thingiverse and I
But
couldn't
but
find
then again, some things are a little bit limited, or actually maybe not so much limited. I found its search cannot be that great because it just depends on how people tag things.
Yep, yep. Then I don't.
Because
Then
there's a
not
lot
only
of RC stuff up there, but again, if you don't like, again, there's a lot for those, like that RC that I have for Tucker and the one Derek has. It's a WPL, so you definitely have to have that in too. But like, not everybody's like, oh, WPL C1 or whatever, because that's like, or C24 or whatever. So sometimes there's the exact thing you'd want to print out, and you'll never find it because they didn't, tag it very whatever. That's why sometimes I just do Google searches. Yeah, you get that link, or you get printables, or there's one that starts with a Y. I can't. But some of those will be uh, paid. So I'm not full yet.
and I know I was trying to.
Well, I'm just saying I'm at 92, and when it gets full, then dump. Let's dump right over here at this. That is over.
No, so if you turn over the right to the right, you'll see a building all the way in the back there. I think that's where it's supposed to go.
Okay. Well, I see it.
But I can still rent it.
That's
It
not.
does.
Well, as long as I can't accidentally dump it in the wrong cell plate.
I think that's what it is. It's definitely over in that area.
I mean, I guess if on the map it.
Yeah. So, anyways, well, and I wanted to make the benchies for the nephews, and I actually kind of want to make these airplanes for the nephews too, because they like that stuff, and then they'll like it because I made it for them.
Yeah.
And then I want to get into actually making some stuff, and some of it I may actually have to print out someone else's design to see how they did certain things.
Yeah. You'll learn. I mean, just print a bunch of stuff, because that's kind of how I learned, especially when I was gonna either design or especially modify other people's. You can start noticing signs that are like, okay, if I flip it this way, I won't have to have supports. Or if I design it this way, I won't have to have supports. Which is not the worst thing in the world. It's just, so then you got to clip them off. And sometimes, the supports will be in areas that are like hard to get at. you know,
Yeah.
I guess
Yep.
it's hard to describe.
Well, one of the first things I wanted to do was a couple of birdhouses, and I I wouldn't mind designing my own version of one, but I need to know how people connected the pieces together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because if you're gonna make yeah, each wall a separate piece, something like,
Yeah.
gotta have a connection. Well, I mean,
And maybe
basically
that's
you could just engineer in basically like a dovetail, or a dovetail joint, or I forget, mortise and tenon. That's what I'm trying to think, like that, and then you glue it together, or screw. Okay.
Well, and
Yeah, it's actually telling me where the sell point is. I
I've actually thought about both, but I still kind of, yeah, I thought about, because I found a design I was actually thinking about using for my house, but then I was like, around my house, but I was like, well, I still kind of wouldn't mind designing my own. And if nothing else, I guess if nothing else, it's just a good thing to kind of work on to practice with. And
well, that's it. You just kind of gotta practice. I mean, um, like when I'd never worked with TPU and such, which it isn't much different than plastic. It's just you you kind of got to think designing it. It's like, okay, well, which way and how do I want this to bend? How do I want the layers to the flexibility or whatever I want? And that took times. I made, like I said, some gasket type deal buy for mainly for like these. Had to do 3 or 4 iterations before I got something worked worked exactly like I wanted. But yeah, so you just gotta kind of do it. You just kind of YOLO it. Yeah, there's some best practices on which I did, but depending on what it is you want, I just have to try, and then again, you'll eventually learn what not to have and what to have.
yeah,
But I mean, and even hey, I mean, honestly, she's the one that just buy it. You've been talking about it for 2 years, just get it, and because I was, just like you, like, well, how much would I use this, and would it don't be hard and all this stuff, and but turns out, like I said, I use it at least once a month for something, not more. Whether it be something I design or I find a design of something. Okay, like I said, my first ever thing I designed after I kind of got it calibrated, test stuff like what you're doing. Like, all right, well, actually, that's what prompted it. Like, okay, I'm gonna make a holder for our ice maker scoop,
yeah,
and I'm like, if I can do that, you know, I'll thought you were gonna start going up and down, but
well, no, I was gonna wait.
but
Yeah, I
and like I said, once I did that, it was like, oh yeah, okay, these little remotes that I have for all this stuff, like not just the sound bar and the D remote, but like the LED light I have, and it's like they just get shoved in a drawer, and it's always kind of a pain to to you got to get them out of the drawer to use them, and then it turns out, okay, well, we don't use them because the remotes aren't handy. Okay, I'm gonna make a specific remote holder. Then you always know where they are as long as you put them back.
yeah,
Like we had a remote for, do have a remote for the fan that's out in our and I have a remote chicken door, and it's got a remote manual. Opens and closes essentially on to dusk, and so I just started making little things like that. Like I said, and here's where Thingiverse, I found like a socket holder for my 1/4 inch drive stuff, but I didn't quite like the height and such of it, so just threw it in essentially Tinkercad and then just rescaled it down and like chopped off the bits that I didn't want. and then printed that, and then added some stuff they didn't sizes they didn't have. That was pretty basic. Okay, this text feed, so I'll just make it a hole and then stick it in there, and it'll it'll then I can fill that up with paint. I just started thinking of all these other kind of organizational with like a holder for my that I can have mounted my disposable gloves, so they're just right like when you go to the doctor, that on the wall, pull them out. Like why I never thought I could have built that out of wood. I just never thought to do it because okay, well I got to get all these tools out just to pull this thing here. You know, again I don't have a lot of skills, but it's basically a box with a hole in it, and I'm like okay, well I think I can do that. And
Yeah.
printed it up, made it custom for what fits my work space things. And there's tons of other stuff that maybe I'm not even thinking. It's like they sell them. First, a bracket or a holder for your headset, side
Yeah,
table, or
I've seen those, but I see I had already bought I had already bought like something off of Amazon that I got
okay.
stuck at the end of my end table that's where I hang them.
Well, right, but like sometimes the store bought thing isn't exactly well. Now you can kind of make exactly what, or if or modify it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've just found done a lot of things like that that been fun to make, and
Well,
and
and
then be useful on top of it.
and I'm sure you've seen some of the stuff that I've had to design for the laser
Right.
and like I kind of want to be some. I don't want to. I mean, some of it obviously it has to be functional and stuff, but some of the stuff I want to do is I kind of want it to be a little bit more artsy too.
Well, that's kind of the skull thing I made you. I mean, that was a like I mean, that was a design I found, but not as a like a 3D printable file. I had to make it printable. And I took away some stuff because I didn't like the design. It was kind of like a line art type of deal. It's like, oh, what if I import this into here, make it a solid? It was a test to see if I could, make a 3D model out of a 2D object. And okay, then all I gotta do is put it in here, and then I can Tinkercad, and then like scale it and make the thickness like what I wanted, and with the little standoffs.
Which reminds me, I need to make the picture frame for that and the picture frame for so
So that
Brooke
was
bought.
actually a test to see if I could take. It's like, okay, I really like this drawing. It's perfect. How can I make it a three? Like someone who
Well,
does this every day, like that's nothing. Like for me, I've never done that.
Brooke Brooke bought me this thing that's it's layered, so it starts off with it's a black bot base with like one layer is definitely red and one layer is definitely blue, and then the top layer is white, and it's 3D printed, and it's kind of, I mean, it's not popped out like yours is, but it's along the same lines, and it could use a picture frame like I was thinking of building for yours
Yeah,
too. Because I guess what I'm thinking is if I build a picture frame and set it so that it'll hold those lights in it, then I could light up the picture.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. The LEDs was a little bit of an after.
Yeah, but I think with the way that I want to do my picture frame um around it, it'll light up even more than it does now because it'll be the LEDs will go all the way around, and then I'll make it so that there's a cutout for them to come out the bottom.
Yeah. Again, like I said, it was mostly to see if I could thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think to the lighting.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, like my trailer. I made some mounts for the different stuff I have in there. I want it to be semi-permanently mounted in, solidly mounted, so mounted in there. You know, it's like being able to hang your pictures on the wall in something that's going down the road and you're gonna be hitting bumps, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted, well, I have, like my boxed toys. I was like, they were just in the garage, kind of collecting dust. Got a little bit of yellow just because I didn't realize the sun was in the garage when. But anyway, I was like, well, they're just sitting here. Like, okay, well, if I'm going to be taking this to shows and stuff, well, it's motorcycle related. Why don't I put it up around this? But okay, how am I going to mount this? I don't want to like tape and mounting tape. I want to be able to remove them. Like, okay, so I designed a mount that'll hold the blister pack boxes. Those can screw to the wall. They have a little, they have some flexibility so they can move around and mess up the boxes. But then they're solidly mounted so they fall out of there. Or you can't just, well, nobody can. Good, you can't just pull them out. Type of thing. Then yeah, well, and then I lighting in there, and it's like, well, I don't want to put like a house. They make and buy, switch boxes, like 12-volt switches and stuff, but like they're expensive and they weren't really what I wanted. So I just made my own box to that full front so I can get holes right where they needed to be, power in, power out, and stuff. So it's little stuff like that. I made it so it's what the switches are molded in. Yeah, so I'm always finding this is.
Well, and I've gotten to a point, and part of this is because I've been sitting here kind of daydreaming about what I could build and whatnot. Part of the so I've been kind of like sitting here like I could I've been building up a save list of stuff to build or think about building. I may not build it all. I don't necessarily plan on building it all. I just some of it is just like, oh, I kind of like that idea, and like maybe I'll do something with that, or maybe I won't. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a favorites thing.
But I've got some stuff that I wouldn't mind designing and taking a stab at it and seeing if I can make my own. And then I mean, I know you know because you've been designing your own stuff, but I sent an airplane pic in Snapchat for my streaks for everybody, and one of my friends came back and be like, you could print RC parts for that, for your RCs, and I'm like, yes, I know.
Yeah.
Like, they're on my list, especially building. I want to build ramps and stuff, and then if I ever get my I ever get my rock crawling one, I wanna get some different obstacle beats for that.
Yeah, for doing like yeah.
Cause
Well, not,
I've really gotten into watching especially I found this like micro crawler Facebook page, and I really like watching them. The I mean these guys, some of these guys have enough room to build this stuff, and I don't, but I like seeing what they put together and stuff. It's like, okay, well maybe I wouldn't go that far, but if I had a micro crawler, you could build something out of like 2 or 3 foot. And then the nice part about it is if you made it all modular and out of plastic, you can change the course up every
yeah.
time.
Well, a lot of guys make just something like a little L-shaped thing that they fit in a corner. And actually, the hobby store somewhat near me kind of has a micro crawler course that is like basically the size of two like kind of like card tables put together, and
Yeah.
and it's partly so if you wanted to try out like some of the models they have in there, you know, they'll but then I think they do have a big area in back too set up. I think, and I think kind of how they do it is a little bit partially timed, but then I think partially like kind of do it like trials too. Like, hey, if you roll it, that's. I'm not sure. I'm not really into the aspect of it. I just like to try to. Well, of course, mine's bigger, but not huge, like one. But
Yeah.
but I like to just try to drive realistically, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't really, and it's kind of like even life, I don't really, you know, like full on competition crawlers and stuff don't really turn my crank, because I know it's all about seeing where you can go and stream, but it also kind of is like, well, when you're just on a regular trail just wanting sightseeing, it's almost like because you don't have to drive it, you know. I like something that's a little less capable, but then trying to do semi-challenging terrain, and then then you have to like actually drive where put your wheel up here and find a line, and well, kind of like when we motorcycle, kind of like motorcycling, well, ATVing, and you don't just push the throttle,
Yeah.
same kind of. But yeah, with the micro stuff, yeah, you can do that in the house even more easily. Mine's almost a little too big to do much. But again, we got the backyard. Got
Well, and
just
that's
go pick up some rocks, bring rocks
well,
home from
see, that's
places,
the
and
thing is I got this little rock bed, and that's got brick around it and stuff, and I've always kind of wanted to take the RCs in there, but these bigger RCs wouldn't be very good for it, and I was like, that would be perfect.
yeah. Well, that's how my art. I mean, we have our flowers and look nice like a flower bed or landscape, but then me and Tucker, we have built. We got kind of little trails, and so you got different areas you can drive to. You have destinations, I guess, and then that's
Yeah.
partly where the little town facade thing comes in. We're gonna have a flower bed area where I'm gonna use some pavers and maybe a little, but kind of make a permanent pad where you set it up. Want to have a town, but also there will be flowers around. So when the town's not there, it looks flower bed, but it's a flower bed you can drive through, kind
Yeah.
of. And then with lights and that. So, but like the pond, naturally, with the water going, drive through. Of course, the challenge is to drive around the pond through some of the challenging, not roll it into the pond.
Yeah.
Um,
Which reminds me, so I've sent you. I know I've sent you videos of them before. It's a husband and wife that tests out different RCs. And I was watching a video of theirs the other day. They were testing out some axial Jeeps, like the 124 scale ones,
Yeah.
and I guess his wife likes to take the Jeeps or take any of them into the water, and so she rolls up to the puddle, and he's like, "No, don't do that. They're not waterproof. Don't
Waterproof.
do that." And so she's like, because she stopped right in front of the water puddle, and then she takes it and she puts the front tires in, and then steers them back and forth a little bit, and then uh, and then she backs it out. And he's just, he- I just,
Well, well, speaking of not
I thought it was
waterproof,
hilarious.
that one like got for Derek only that's what Tucker has. Although Derek's didn't have proportional controls where Tucker's, which is a
Yeah,
newer
but
design.
I bought so I bought Derek's
To be
on
a
the
more of a model, yeah, I get it.
yeah, I bought it on the cheaper end because I didn't know how much he was actually going to use it. But I also wanted the I wanted to look like his old.
Right. But anyway, my
I
point
mean,
is those are not they don't have a sealed motor or anything, but an ESC. And Tucker's been very good about not trying to get it wet and stuff. But it has. I mean, we've run them in the rain. I mean, it's not been 100% submerged, but it's gotten water up in there and stuff just from the mud and all that. And no issues. I mean, that's the thing. And it was like $65 or about the same price,
yeah,
And um I mean, he wore the front end out, but again, all plastic, everything
yeah,
naturally. But I mean, and I replaced it with metal one. But yeah, that's the thing. The motor, all that as it came, and I mean, it's what I'd say abused just for the fact of it's gone. It's not really one to be put through like serious mud and stuff. Like mine is more hobby grade where it's designed to do some of that.
yeah,
But even it's not like you can't submerge it or it's a little more it has some more durable parts. It's got metal gears and this was all plastic, But uh yeah, I was gonna say the rear end just recently, after all this time, just recently uh finally stripped the ring gear out of it. But I mean, it's been all over the place and mud and up in the mountains and all different kinds of rain. So
yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. It's like in those little ones. Well, it's not super capable because the suspension is terrible on it, but it still goes. And even that one of Derek's, like I said, I did a little testing. I mean, I took a little bit of video of it, where I sent it off. Um, even though it wasn't proportional, it was still very fun to drive, and it went places.
yeah. I gotta let the dog out.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. I'll have to go let her in, but I jumped out so you could jump in, but
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I don't mind doing that.
well, I mean, I jumped out so that you could.
Oh, keep rolling. Yeah. Well, I knew you weren't gonna do that. Let's see. Well, Supercross this weekend. I read something. Sexton will be back. Not that he's in the hunt, obviously. Points. Uh, I don't know that it'll be a spoiler, but I guess he could be.
Yeah.
But I guess let's see if the time away, it is not just recovery physically, but you know, get his head the way it needs to be. Because he's fast, he just beating himself for some reason. Oh,
I think. I guess I think you kind of probably know my opinion of him.
oh yeah. I
He
mean,
he he just beats himself.
oh yeah, he just beats himself, and I don't know why. Oh, like it's in his head.
like
He's in his own head.
I can understand when Jet is in the mix,
Yeah,
but
but he could hang with Jet. I mean, that's the thing. It's not the talent and such ain't there. It's it's whatever whatever's mentally ailing him, you know.
Jet makes him ride too much over the edge, and
Oh, I think so, but
he and then he gets
then there
tripped
was
up.
all those times like last season where he had 10 seconds on second place and then just fall down, you know,
Yeah,
and tuck the front end, or whatever. Um, yeah. So
I
I
just I speaking of, so I just made another uh I just made another purchase of my RM cash.
Oh, so did I. I had like $21 or over
I
$20. So I bought some
it took me I think 3 weeks to get back up to $17.
right. Well, so I actually bought some OEM parts cuz I need it for this motorcycle I'm working. Couple bucks worth of some little rubber parts um that were still available for it. And then I bought a set of most of it was a set of Japanese Phillips screwdrivers. They're called JIS because they look like Phillips, but they're ever so slightly different, and they fit Japanese screws perfectly and round them out. And I only had one like proper screwdriver, but I didn't have the other sizes, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. Because I was like, well, what do I buy this time? I mean, yes, I can keep buying a shirt, find a shirt. I was like, you know what? I'll buy a tool, or I'll look for. I think next time I'll buy maybe a sticker pack, or something, depending on how much I have.
I ended up buying the uh, the tumblers, I guess. I don't know what you want to call them. I
Yeah.
think tumblers is probably the best way to put them. I have one, and I bought one for my mom a year or two ago. I love mine, and so I decided, since I didn't need any shirts or anything, I would, because they're only like $10 a piece. So I bought two of them. I'm gonna give them to my sister and her husband, because he likes coffee, and then I think they're really nice cups. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have my 36 ouncer. I've been using it, and I guess it's got got a good feel, quality, the lid works right. um, and it,
Oh,
yeah, so
speaking of all this, so we kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago about my sandwich videos and bringing
oh,
in maybe
right, yeah,
trying to bring in a sponsor. So I tried your Dave's Wonder Bread or whatever it's called.
right.
I have not heard a word from them,
Oh, I'm sure not. I mean, it's a long shot. I just thought,
but
well, they're kind of it's a company that's kind of quirky, so I thought, well, maybe it'd be a thing.
but but I had this thing pop up on my, I think it was on my Instagram. It might have been on Facebook too, or well, I mean they're both owned by the same platform. Anyways, or same company. But anyways, it's a cookie dough product that you can eat out of the jar
Okay, yeah,
raw. But if you want to, you can bake it, and then it's also supposed to be. I don't want to say, without looking into it more, I don't want to say healthy. It might be on more on the healthy side. It's definitely supposed to be vegan though. And anyways, they were looking for ambassadors, and they said they didn't care. Just apply whatever. Well,
right.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to apply. I just was like, hey, could you give me a one-time code or whatever? And um, this is what I'm doing. And they're like, well, if you just apply to be an ambassador, like, because I said what I didn't want is I didn't want like you had to be under contract with them for a
Right,
year.
no. But and most of them aren't that way because I actually looked into a couple of other things not too long ago. Well, all right. One was liquid IV. So I do use the stuff um, only occasionally when I actually need hydration, Um,
Yeah.
like but well, and I thought, okay, well, maybe they'll want to give me some product for giveaway or but and I saw that, oh, become like an ambassador or well, I mean it's like for influence whatever, but I looked at what it took to apply and it's like, well, I haven't applied uh but I think I will because when I kind of read through the T's and C's, it's kind of basically you get a little bit you get a little bit of free product initially, and then um, you get access to different promotions. They come out with new products or something, but like there's no obligation to you know be a shill for it. And that was kind of what you're saying. I didn't want to be under some sort of contract like that required, okay, you need to do 3 videos a month or
Exactly.
you have to do this type of sponsor when that's
Yeah.
not.
Well,
And I find
e-
out most of them
exactly.
don't do actually. They just it's kind of
That's one.
like mass call it their market like mass marketing. It's like, look, if they have to give away a couple boxes of stuff here and there and they know people will TikTokers, grammars, they're gonna make a reel, even if like only 1,000 people see it. Well, half of that 500, it might stick in their brain because other influencers they're gonna keep hearing the name over and over and over again. Or just for them, it's more like brand awareness.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, that's how Monster got where it got before Coca-Cola bought them. They just gave away product and Red Bull too to just get the word of mouth, and that's well, and they got college kids to give them free product and this and just to get the name out there. So
Yeah.
I think that's what they're doing. So I you got an idea for the use of the product, I'd go for it. Just
Well,
my
I did, and I did, or I do. I was like, well, I definitely could use it once, whatever. And anyways, so they told me to go ahead and apply. They're like, there's no contract or anything, and whatever. So I applied, and of course, um, got it. And I guess this one is I get a code, and then if someone actually buys something with my code, then
you'll get a
I can,
yeah, you get a little bit of yeah, that's how
yeah,
most. So yeah, you got to make sure you put the code on screen, but then you also have a way like link in the description,
yeah.
something, link tree, profile, or
So anyways, so I ended up actually
well, that's
doing,
pretty cool. I mean,
and I haven't really made like, you know, because I haven't made the video that I'm gonna use it in. Obviously, I actually have ordered it, and I'm waiting for my product to arrive so that I can make the video. But I decided, I think this weekend I'm gonna, actually I already know this weekend I'm gonna kind of unveil it a little bit as far as like I already added it to my stream so that my code can pop up. Not that
yeah.
I'm in anything, but
Well, and that's the thing. There's other companies. I mean, again, when we got to talking about it, Dave's only popped up because, again, they're a little more quirkier uh, type of deal. So I thought, well, maybe off chance, but there's all these. Everybody's trying to sell something, so
well, and
just
I
gotta
don't know
open
if
your
this
mind.
was, I don't know if this was because we were. I don't know if this was because I actually did that with Dave's, or if this was because the phone heard us talking about it.
Well, right, yeah,
Because
they're listening.
it just it was just so weird because we had that. I mean, we kind of had a couple conversations, but we had like a really hard conversation about it one night in stream, and then literally like that weekend my phone started popping up um with this cookie dough thing. And I wasn't gonna do it at first. Like I said, I was kind of leery of it, and I was like, you know what, I actually, so what I did was I reached out to him and I said, hey, I said, I'm, I do this type of video. I've been doing this type of video, and I'm like, I got two questions for you. I said, A, do you could you just do a one-time code? And then B, I'm like, do you have an idea of maybe how I could use your product this way? And well, they never answered B, but they're like, they answered A, and they're just like, yeah, we don't do a contract or anything. And
Well, I guess think about companies that make other toppings for sandwiches. I mean, then I thought it's like, well, you might as well reach out to like Oro Wheat and just go through the aisle and pick them out. Get the more smaller, more
well, and
gourmet
that,
ones because usually they're the ones that want that viral mark.
well, and um, the nice part about this one is it's not going to be it doesn't have to be a one and done video, because
Yeah,
they have like, right now they have 7 different flavors. So as long as I can think of something to use the other
yeah.
flavors for, um, but anyways, yeah. So I kind of done that over the last couple weeks. Well, so they accepted me like a week ago, but then you have to kind of sign the contract, so to speak, in a way. You have to use. They give you maybe shouldn't talk about this too much, but they give you like a bigger code, for the initial buy.
Yeah.
And then once you make that initial buy, then they're like, okay, well now you're
So kind, well, so kind of like an MLM, you know, yeah.
they give you like a more of an incentive to buy the first time, and
Yeah.
then they give you your code and get you set up. So, anyways, I did that, and then and one of the reasons we kind of talked about, we haven't talked about afterwards, but we talked about it before. Was
Yeah.
one of the reasons I wasn't available last weekend was because I went to that fish show, that fish swap.
Oh yeah, well, you told me about a fish. So I guess how was that? Did Brad go too, or?
No, it was just me. Brad was actually at
Well,
my
I mean,
sister's
like if you
metal
saw him
detecting.
there, I mean.
No, he was at my sister's house metal detecting.
Oh, okay.
Because he, he, I had to kind of. He asked me that day about hers because he had heard that she bought a house and that she had to live. It's an older house, and I said, yeah, it was, and I ended up. So I told her about it and said that he would like to come down, and then I ended up like kind of connecting them again because it's been